Most probably. Oh wait, that's not the catchphrase. Indeed, the God of War series took a bit of a turn in 2018 to some people's displeasure and to the excitement of others. I can lament about the big hairy dad game until it dies a death, but with The Last of Us, Dishonored, The Walking Dead Season 1 and to some extent The Witcher 3, all of which being games I've stated I enjoyed, means I can't throw too many cold bottles of piss just yet. Not until the trope is faded anyway, and the bottles have cooled down. While I could talk about several things here to do with hugging the back of Christopher Judge like an anime character to a hairy dad, I think the reason I enjoyed God of War 2018 so much wasn't the whole dad thing. Not entirely, anyway. Yes, the story, spoiler alert for the most obvious plot in the universe, is that Kratos had a kid with a woman and she died. Now Kratos has to raise a son he's not close with and teach him balance. Yes, you heard that right, the bloke he used to tap that ass with QTEs. Sex, it's like assembling a bike, and rep half of Olympus' New Holland's arse is now teaching a kid how to stay calm. What next? Mel Gibson teaching anger management in the West Bank? All of this aside, it's more of a personal story, as effectively you're learning to love Atreus, while Kratos is too. Love him despite his flaws, which are echoing that of Kratos himself. However, what I think stands out more than a hairy dad plotline is the direction and core mechanics that just make the game as enjoyable as possible to play. I may be showing the first proper boss fight that you get into, and it's one in which rivals that of any MCU film. I'm not going to mince words here, you're playing that for the most part. And the axe feels so satisfying. There's a button to throw it, and to really send home where you are, it comes back to you like it should command lightning and you were once married to Miley Cyrus. So it comes back to you like a special hammer then. Yeah, the sound of it impaling on an enemy, the weight of it, and that thud as it comes back to your hand is a good feeling. It's like a shotgun in a Doom game or a satisfying sniper shot to a German's testicles. There's a primal bit of you that's happy to see and hear it. Match this with a camera that never really cuts, it's everything I want. I've argued the idea of cinematic games can get right in the bin, and for the most part, I'm talking about David Cage and that twat Nathan Drake. Those are mostly because they never marry the two. It's all QTEs in the cinematic, but the proper gameplay, which Cage doesn't have, is somewhere else. God of War is the only game to properly do that cinematic thing, all while putting gameplay in there too. When I say the camera never cuts, I mean that from the opening menu to the end of the game, you never see an obvious cut unless you know where to look. No jumping, it's very much that Birdman, or more recently 1917, trick. That secret oneer, i.e. there's a bit of sneaky editing but nothing extreme. Not doing lots of edits but letting the camera move about the scene brings you more into the world than almost any game does. As I said about Kojima's Metal Gear Solid V, the Phantom Wrist Pain, shh, quiet. His direction that time around focuses on those slow, pregnant movements and mystery-filled pacing. It focuses so much more on the pacing of the moment and not something as hastily edited as these videos have been the last few weeks. It's such a simple story, one of a son and a dad losing someone they love, and it is done so beautifully that you don't necessarily forget that you're ripping your way through a mythology, but you might not entirely be thinking of your consequences. You're on a march to your wife's grave with your son on her last request. You spread her ashes atop a mountain, and along the way you teach your son so much. Cory Barlog's direction here, his team's writing, Judge's acting, and every person's work put into the game makes it one of the greatest games and one of the greatest stories in games ever released. Of course I like it. I named my cat Freya for Christ's sakes.
Who are you afraid I'll find? Let's find out.